You see, your hope should not rest on your interpretation of your ability and your circumstances. Rather, you should interpret your ability and your circumstances through the lens of God's power and His presence with you. Well, this next section we're going to look at really lays out for us the reason for the plagues. And this section will take us from the 14th verse of the 7th chapter into the 11th chapter. I'm going to read a small section for you in a moment from Exodus 7. But God brought 10 plagues down on Egypt, the Nile into blood, frogs all over the land, lice in the livestock, flies tormenting the Egyptians, a deadly disease infecting the Egyptian livestock, boils on the people and animals, hail and fire, locusts devouring all vegetation, 3 days of utter darkness, and finally the death of all the Egyptian firstborn. In Exodus 7:14-25 is a recounting of the first plague and its result. Again, a replication by the sorcerers and the hardening of Pharaoh's heart. But I want to discuss verse 17 because here you have the reason for the demonstration of God's ultimate power over the very cells of creation. Think about this. If God can turn the molecules of water into molecules of blood, His power over creation exists even at a cellular level. Cells do His bidding. And although sorcerers imitate Him, they quickly give up because they do not have the power He has, and they cannot replicate every plague. Thus says the Lord, by this you shall know that I am the Lord. Behold, with the staff that is in my hand, I will strike the water that is in the Nile, and it shall turn into blood. You see, the plagues were apologetic. By that I mean a physical argument for the existence, sovereignty, and authority and almighty power of God. The plagues were meant to convince Moses and Aaron, the people of Israel, the Egyptian people, and most of all, Pharaoh, that there's only one God who sits on the throne of the universe. He alone rules in power and authority. He alone has the power to assure that what He has planned will be done. Now think about the situation here. There are probably not many of the people of Israel who are real confident in the power of God because they'd been in slavery for 400 years. They probably think that either God is weak, there is no God, He's forsaken them, or He just isn't faithful to what He's promised. They've been in this dire condition for all of these years, for generations. I mean, think about this. They were in Israel, or in Egypt, for more than twice as long as the United States has existed. It's amazing. But they could rest in the promise of deliverance that God had made. It would come to pass. And Moses and Aaron could be sure that God would accomplish His will through them. You see, your hope should not rest on your interpretation of your ability and your circumstances. Rather, you should interpret your ability and your circumstances through the lens of God's power and His presence with you and the promises He has made for you. You don't judge God by your circumstances. You judge your circumstances by who God is and what He said He will do. When Jesus was about to send out His disciples to represent Him, and to face the persecution that would follow, he said, "All power is given to me in heaven and on earth." He is saying, you will never be in a situation that is not ruled by me. And then he said, "Behold, I am with you always. Where I send you, I go also." I rule. I'm with you. Now go.